Buddhism and the Hope of Enlightenment by Hazen. In the 1960s and 70s, Buddhism garnered a lot of attention in the Western world because it was gathering so many new and prominent adherents. The key growth factors are not that hard to understand. First, Buddhism was seen as an exotic and mysterious new faith, a real point of attraction during those countercultural decades. Second, and most importantly, Buddhism not only offered a solution to the problem of suffering, something anyone would long to have solved, but it also offered an ancient and trusted means of bringing personal peace through meditation and other spiritual practices. In a short time, Buddhism had become a popular alternative to Christianity in the West. Buddhism has been around as a major religious tradition for over 2,500 years. So it is important for Christians who interact with Buddhists to understand that for any faith tradition to last that long, it must be addressing one or more important human needs. The idea that Buddhism attempts, even imperfectly, to address the problem of pain and suffering, and that it offers inner peace for the devotee are features that have helped to provide this tradition with such a long and vital life. I don't want to give the impression, though, that Buddhism has been a monolithic tradition in terms of its beliefs and practices through the centuries and around the globe today. There are three main divisions of Buddhism called the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. These are known as Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. But there are a myriad of other subdivisions and movements such as Zen and Pure Land. It is said that there are 84,000 Dharma gates or approaches to the Buddhist faith. It can be helpful to know something about Buddhism and its history and divisional differences in order to have a good conversation with the Buddhist. But it is far more important to know the basics, the doctrines that best define Buddhism as a unique religion. Buddhism is part of a family of yogic religions that includes Hinduism, Jainism, and other related Eastern traditions that have at their center practices and beliefs meant to help the devotee to escape or to gain liberation from an endless cycle of births and rebirths demanded by the law of karma, an Eastern version of sin. Buddhism's classical solution to this problem is a recognition of the Four Noble Truths. 1, all is suffering. 2, the cause of suffering is desire. 3, to be rid of suffering is to be rid of desire. And 4, the way to be rid of desire is to follow the Noble Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is a rigorous set of rules that governs your thoughts, your speech, and your actions. Only by adhering to these four noble truths can one move closer to liberation. That, in the case of Buddhism, is called enlightenment or nirvana. Why did it say Four Noble Truths if it said Eightfold Path? I'm confused. Might be a typo. 2 additional common teachings of Buddhism make all this difficult to embrace for the Christian. First, Buddhism is basically atheistic. Theravada Buddhists do not believe in God. Other Buddhists, such as the Mahayana, have gods, small g gods, in their system of thought. But as one gets closer to enlightenment, one realizes more and more that little g gods are just useful illusions that one entertains while at the lower rungs of the spiritual ladder. And just as problematic for the Christian is the Buddhist idea that humans have no self, soul, or spiritual essence. One of the key features of enlightenment is to fully apprehend that idea. One universal and undeniable truth about humans is that we crave spiritual answers. We want to know who we are, where we came from, and where we are going. Such knowledge is not possible through Buddhism. There is no God who can give us a personal, transcendent perspective. There is no soul to commune with God and to receive his love, the primary reason for our existence. There is no Holy Spirit who can help us to live the way we should. In Buddhism, the righteousness that is demanded is our burden alone to achieve. There is no grace or hope when karma forces one yet again to a lower plane of existence. There is no way to deal with sin except to rename it ignorance or illusion. There are no real answers to the deepest longings of the human heart, soul, or mind in Buddhism. There is an escape in Buddhist thought, but it is an escape from reason. None of this adds up, and Buddhists themselves agree. One must embrace irrationality in order to make it all work. But the greatest commandment from Jesus is completely at odds with this. We are told to love God with all our heart and with all our soul and with all our mind. All of these elements are missing in the history of Buddhist thought and practice. Only Jesus can bring true enlightenment.